So when this process began a few years ago for me in my current role, and Depot Street was the selected site, one of the most common questions I kept getting was, what's going to happen if you're not on Lothrop Street anymore? And there was a lot of concern about us being, now across from Blanche James and how we've always been on Lothrop Street. So I wanted to provide some perspective on how our police operations work. So unlike the fire department, we're not static. We're not based out of the police station waiting for a call to come in and then going from Lothrop Street. We do have 3 shifts, 8 to 4, 4 to 12, and midnight till 8 a.m. And officers will come in, they'll receive their shift assignment, their briefing, and then we deploy them into the field. And if you look behind me on this board, the shaded area is the north sector of town. And we divide the town into north and south. That's how we break up our sectors. So the schools are in the blue area for some perspective. So if we get a call to go to the school, our dispatch center is just sending the north car. They don't call the police station and say who's available, who's across the street. They just dispatch the north car. And that north car can be anywhere in that area. We could be out on Mill Street, we could be out on Chestnut Street, we could be at a car accident and tied up. So if that would happen, we'd be sending the south car, which could be coming from Turnpike and Foundry. So I wanted people to understand that that's a question I got a lot from my family and friends, and I know it's important how the school community feels about our location. And additionally, we did respond to this school last fall for, luckily, a hoax, but we had an active shooter hoax. The first car here was the north car. I responded, Chief Alexander. We set up a command post. We worked well with the school and Dr. Cabral and Ms. Pruitt. But it's important to know that the sector car was the first car there. When I first became chief, one of the things I did do was reach out to Dr. Cabral, and we talked about school safety, the school resource officer program, and how we could better train together with police, fire, and schools. Since then, we do have a full-time school resource officer here on the campus, not part-time like in years past, but actually full-time, 5 days a week. I know everyone's excited about. And most of the people here supported that, and I thank you for helping us get there. And so over that past year, we've done a lot of safety training to help put people's minds at ease. As recently as a few weeks ago, we provided intruder training with the school staff and even worked on some swatting calls. If you know what's going on in the news, that's the newest phase of robocalls and swatting calls targeting high schools. Something else I wanted to point out about not just school safety, but community safety. This town has heavily invested in a mental health clinician, and we have a full-time mental health clinician. We have a police officer that works outreach with that person, and we have Captain Tim Vamosi of the fire department who's here, who has a paramedicine program that the fire department runs. And I don't know if everyone knows that, but we are head and shoulders above many of these other towns. I don't know of any town that even has one of those, let alone all 3. So we are really doing a lot of things behind the scenes to work on the root causes of these problems before it turns into a violent episode that could ever find its way into a school. So I'm excited about that relationship that we now have with our schools. And we presented this to Dr. Cabral and the school committee, and they supported us wholeheartedly, and we're very thankful. And so to be candid, I went to school here. It's a little different than it was in the 90s. I graduated here. My brother went here. I'm a townie, as townie comes. And I know that the police station being on Lothrop Street is somewhat of a permanent landmark, so to speak. So I understand how people feel about it, because I felt the same way growing up. But that being said, as the chief, I wouldn't do anything or support something that I felt compromised the safety of the kids. And I don't. And if I did, I wouldn't have supported this 2 years ago when I got asked. And also, I'm a dad. My son's over at Blanche James. And so as a dad and a resident, I would not support this if I was worried about his safety. And I'm not. So, thank you.